Welcome back to the Chrysalis House YouTube channel. My name is Chrysalis, and today I'm talking to you guys about one of my favorite things that's helped me in my journey thus far, plant medicine. In my time with plant medicine, I have most predominantly been in relationship with cannabis and psilocybin, aka magic mushrooms. I have tried one other, but I would be lying to you if I told you I know the name of it. I was given it casually by a friend, just a little amount here, licked it off my hand, and it wasn't super intense, but it did connect me deeper into my heart space, and we had some really expansive, interesting conversations while partaking with it. There are so many positive things that I can say about my journey with plant medicine, but what I will say is this. I really genuinely do not believe that I would be where I am today if I had not spent significant time with both cannabis and psilocybin. I have not only taken macro doses of psilocybin, I have also microdosed for several years. And if I were to recommend any one thing that any person who is looking for any assistance on either their healing or their spiritual journey, I would highly recommend microdosing magic mushrooms. There are so many different scientific benefits for it if you're into that. What I will say here that I know off the top of my head is that it literally helps create brand new neural pathways in your brain. I truly and genuinely believe that psilocybin allowed me to be as open-minded as I am. Ever since I really invited psilocybin into my life in such a dramatic way, I just noticed so many different things changed about me. I increased my connection with the intuitive realms and just the intuitive guidance I got. I started microdosing immensely in 2020, but really amped it up when I was actually training in mediumship in 2023. And that was so incredibly transformative for me on my path. Like I said, I would not be where I am today if I hadn't spent significant time with mushrooms. I would be lying to you if I said it made this giant fucking difference all at once. I understand that is some people's journey, but it was not my personal journey. What I noticed is that over time, like I said, the channel to my intuition just got stronger. My connection with my body got stronger, and frankly, my connection with the natural world and other people around me got stronger as well. I feel more able to connect with a really wide variety of people more than I ever have in my life. And I really do feel that psilocybin as a medicine breaks down the illusion that anything is separate from you. Fungi is connected in all of these different fucking networks in the forest, and I truly believe that when you take in that medicine, it allows you to feel more connected to the things that are around you that you were previously closed off to. I cannot speak highly enough of it, although I will say this, it's one of those things where you can talk ad fucking nauseum about the benefits of it, but until you welcome it into your life, you will probably not understand what it is I'm saying. I'm gonna address something here that you may not experience, but I definitely experienced for years prior to experiencing psilocybin. You may very well be afraid of what your experience with the plant will bring you. Now, what I will say is this. From a soul perspective, I'm just reminding you, there is no such thing as a good or bad experience. I know, it can be really fucking annoying to hear that shit. Because the reality is, the human in us can still feel the emotion that we choose to label as fear. Abso-fucking-lutely. So, all that being said, I just want to remind you, environment is key. Preparing yourself is key. Do not go into it when you're already in a space where you feel so fucking vulnerable, unless you really do just want to do it on hard mode. But I personally wouldn't recommend that. The first time that I did a macro dose of mushrooms, I was with my childhood best friend who we grew up in diapers. We used to fucking see each other naked. We've just known each other our whole lives. So immense level of comfort in the person that I did mushrooms for the first time with. I also did it with her at her childhood home where I'd spent so much time. It was beautiful. We were in nature. We got to hang out on the grass by the fire pit and swim in the pool and be under the stars. It was just the most magical time because I set up my environment and space to be that way. So if you are going to do a macro dose of psilocybin, I just recommend that you pick the most conducive environment for an uplifting experience for yourself. When you're microdosing, you can do it in tablets. You can also do it the real hardcore way, which is literally just eating a little bit of the mushrooms. I personally don't recommend that because it kind of tastes like shit. But like I said, if you really want to go for it, then do it. The third recommendation I have is my personal favorite, which is taking it via tincture. I will put a link in the description here to a American kind of apothecary where this woman literally creates a psilocybin tincture called Spirit Bear. It is phenomenal. It is the best thing that I have ever tried, and I have tried many different kinds of microdosing shit over the years in my journey, and I just couldn't recommend it enough because you can tailor it to exactly what you want. So if you're literally feeling like you just want one drop one day, then you do that. And if you're feeling honestly like you kind of want a bit of a macro dose, you can do like a whole fucking dropper or 2 or 3 of them, then you can go for it and do that as well. The most important thing to me is just like do what you feel like doing. And the tincture allows you so much freedom that, in my personal opinion, the capsules don't. If you're at all wondering what to expect on mushrooms, I will say everybody has their own different experience. But like I said, it ultimately for me always ends up feeling connective, expansive, and just, like I'm just open to like more of everything that the world has to offer. Like everything. Now, before your egoic defenses may come in and go, oh my God, but what about the benefits of this? All you need to do is Google psilocybin, mental health, spiritual health benefits, and you will find tons of fucking shit. I'm not going to be that resource for you, but go Google it. There's tons of information and you can read and watch stuff about it. So that brings me to the second plant ally that I have had plenty of experience with, that at one point in my life I actually abused. So there is some nuance here. My journey with cannabis started when I was 19. I had desperately been wanting to try it for years. In high school, I was the goody two shoes where, you know, most of my friends were doing cannabis and I was like, no, like I cannot touch this stuff. I won't do it. But as I got older, I was like, oh my God, like I just want to try it. But because I was such a goody, I didn't know where to get it. I didn't know who to ask, especially after high school when like me and some friends had just parted ways. I had no idea who to ask. An ex-boyfriend of mine introduced me to the plant. And when I first started engaging with it, by God, it was not from an intentional space of, I am looking to expand my consciousness. I am looking to connect deeper into my body. It wasn't like that at all. I had no concept of using cannabis to expand my relationships in a heart-centered way. Like none of this stuff. It was very much I'm just here to use a recreational drug. That's how I approached cannabis in the beginning. And eventually, because I was approaching it like that, I became problematically addicted. At least that's how I chose to consider it, because homegirl was having a meltdown when she couldn't find a lighter to light a pipe with. And I was like, that's not cute. That's when I decided to go off of it for like 5 or 6 months. I got really clear with myself and I came to this really interesting space where I knew I had been abusing the plant for years prior and I could access those spiritual benefits, but I needed to maintain a lot of self-control in order to do that. And so that's what I did. When I started my relationship with cannabis again, I believe it was 2023, and it was just very interesting. It was so completely different. It wasn't just I'm here and I just want to fuck around with weed. No, it was I would like to enhance the sensations in my body. I would like to enhance the sensitivity of what I feel and connect deeper into my body. Feel my feelings more, connect deeper with my tissues. It was honestly a lot about embodiment. And for me personally, what I've experienced is that indica strains or indica dominant hybrids are especially wonderful for that. Something you hear people talk about when it comes to cannabis is that there's indica strains and sativa strains. If you're familiar with this, then you know what I'm about to say probably. But if you're not, indica is kind of like indica couch is how most people talk about it. For me personally, indica is the somatic embodiment string. It is what allows me to connect even deeper into my body. Do I need it? No. Which has been lovely to prove to myself over the years. Because ever since I started using it intentionally, again, I have decided to go off of it for different periods of time and frankly just monitor my attachment. Like, was I allowing myself to become unhealthily dependent on it again? Like, what is it? Thankfully, the answer is no. But what I will say is I notice now that when I microdose it, I do feel a deeper sense of connection with my body that benefits me so deeply. It also allows me to be more present with my relationships. I remember when I was with the ex-boyfriend that introduced me to cannabis for the first time, he said something to me that I will literally never forget, which is that cannabis is an enhancer. All it does is enhance the state that you are currently in. And so if you're somebody who has been with cannabis and you're experiencing yourself having lots of anxiety and paranoia, I hate to break it to you, but you were probably anxious and paranoid before. But now, with the help of the medicine of the plant, you are unable to ignore those feelings. I know this because I have been there. I've been there where I've been lying to myself, deluded when I was like unhealthily addicted to the plant. And I would be like, oh my God, weed'll like totally help me. And then like it made it worse, but that's just a judgment because in reality, it served me so well. It just showed me this thing that I was trying to distract and avoid. Cannabis is something that can be very beautiful, but like I said, I have been unhealthily addicted to it in the past, and so I can also see that there is a really strong potential for unhealthy dependence on it. Now, what I will say is this: unhealthy is a judgmental word, and I'm aware that I've been using it through the video. I believe in my core that there's actually nothing wrong with anything that literally anybody does, because on a soul level, we all do exactly what we want to do whenever we want to do it. When I was unhealthily addicted to cannabis, that's exactly what I wanted to be doing. And when I didn't want to do it anymore, I stopped doing it. So I just want to point out to you, it's totally up to you. Engage with these plant allies however you feel like doing it. But if you're looking for a conscious way to engage with any of them, all I can recommend, top priority, is low and slow. Now for cannabis, for me, if you're curious, my typical dose is edibles in particular. I no longer smoke. The second I decided to take my music journey seriously, I gave that up like pronto, because I had known for a while that even the little bit of smoking I was doing was negatively impacting my lungs. And frankly, within the first month of having quit smoking, it went from barely being able to rap my own fucking music to being able to rap it standing, walking. So that was huge. I would personally recommend not smoking, but I do understand the novelty of it, and I would be totally lying to you if I said that I didn't miss it sometimes, because I do. Microdosing is what I recommend for both of these, and if you are going to macrodose on psilocybin, aka magic mushrooms, like I said, be so very deliberate about choosing and cultivating an environment that is conducive to you having a positive experience. For me, microdosing cannabis looks like 2.5 grams of an edible. Sometimes I will do 5 grams of an edible, but that for me is like a higher dose. It's wild thinking about how I used to do like 10 and then smoke a shit ton on top of that. But that was, again, it wasn't from like this conscious, intentional place. Plant allies and medicine are used very differently when you're engaging with them to be more deeply embodied, to approach your life more from the heart space, to unlimit yourself, to expand your consciousness. It's just so very different. Like I said, I would not be the person I am today without these plant allies. I'm very curious to hear if you've had any interesting experiences in the comments below. I do not have this big story about like, oh, my life-changing trip on magic mushrooms. Like, my most life-changing moments have frankly been when I've been sober. And that doesn't mean that these haven't added like immense fucking value to my life. I've been thinking about doing another microdosing session this summer. Microdosing to me is like so amazing when it's in the summer, because there is just something about the sensations you feel in your body when you are microdosing and in relationship with magic mushrooms, and you have this beautiful hot summer sun shining down on you. If you've had that experience, you just know exactly what I'm talking about. Thank you for being here. My name is Chrysalis, and I will see you in the next one.